The Impossible is the account of one family caught in the mayhem of one of the worst natural catastrophes of our time.
Boys, come and see this.
Isn't it great?
Can we swim in there?
Yeah, we can go swimming, yeah.
Go get it, Lucas.
I was looking forward to seeing The Impossible from the first time I saw the trailer because I thought it looked really visually impressive, but I was curious because it kind of looked almost like a summer blockbuster or a fictional disaster movie, but this is based on the 2004 tsunami. It's a true story, and so I would expect something like that not to be taken lightly and to be handled very delicately, but it looked almost epic, which I don't think is the angle you go for when you might have people complaining that you're not taking it seriously enough and making it into a bit too much of a spectacle. And now, having seen The Impossible, I have to say it's a great movie. It does have a couple of problems, which I'll get into, but it does also have that element that I was sort of seeing in the trailer where it kind of feels a little bit too showy and a bit more of a spectacle than you'd expect for something that's based on a true tragedy where people died. And I don't have a problem with it personally. It's just the type of thing where I know everybody loves to complain about everything. And a few times in the movie I thought, man, I could see someone complaining about this, and I haven't heard any complaints. So, once again, doesn't bother me, I'm just surprised it hasn't bothered anybody else. But let's get a little more into The Impossible, starting off with the plot, which, of course, as I said, it is based on the true story of a family caught in the 2004 tsunami, and I don't know the story. I knew what came of the family, but I didn't know exactly what happened along the way, and I don't think it really mattered that I knew what came of the family because I still was invested and still was into it, and for all I knew, they could have changed something, so I didn't know. But I would say the problem with it is that there are a couple of cliche bits to it, specifically like, you know, people are running around trying to find each other and they're just missing each other, like you see, you know, one person run this way and the other person run by in the background, they just missed each other, and in the movie theater it's like, oh, damn it! But when I think about it, it's a little bit corny because it just seems like something we've seen many times before, and I highly doubt that's exactly how it went down. So those embellishments I thought were a little bit of Hollywood cliches, but other than that, I don't know what was real and what was embellished, but I did think that in general it was very good, and I was surprised by the fact that it was much less about the tsunami hitting as it was the survival after the fact. I don't know why I expected it to be more about the tsunami hitting, but once I realized it was more about the survival, I wasn't sure it was going to keep me engaged, and it definitely did. I was really into it the whole time. The directing I thought was really good, aside from the fact that, like I said, some of it felt like a little bit too much of a showy spectacle relative to the fact that it's a true tragedy, and I have to make sure it's clear that I am not offended by it at all. I am just surprised that other people aren't, because that's what people do. They get offended by every little thing. That being said, I thought that some of it was so intense, and some of it was a little cliche, as I said. That's not just in the writing, it's in the directing as well, I think. But I thought that the tsunami hitting was intense, and any underwater bits were really, really intense. I couldn't breathe myself. It was insane. I almost had to look away a couple times at some of the, I don't want to say gore because that makes it sound like it's, oh, gore, but some of the visuals of people who got injured, I guess you could say. I had this look on my face multiple times, and I would last like that for a minute because I just couldn't believe what I saw. There was one part where it was like a split second of seeing something disturbing, and oh God, I didn't think it was gratuitous or anything like that. I think they had to show it, and they didn't really go back to it once they showed you what the injuries were. But it was definitely pretty damn intense. The acting was great, but I expected nothing less because I'm a big fan of Ewan McGregor and Naomi Watts, and I thought they blew it out of the park. I really thought they were great. Ewan McGregor was in it much less than I was expecting. I didn't know exactly, you know, what the balance of Naomi versus Ewan McGregor was, but he was in it much less than I was expecting, and I thought that he was really good, but I think Naomi Watts was the best part. She was fantastic. And I have to give major credit to the kids. I thought all of them were really, really great, especially Tom Holland. He was excellent. I thought that his character was a little bit too helpful, and almost, that's another one of the little cliches, I would say, but his acting was fantastic. All of them were great. I was very, very surprised by that. And overall, The Impossible is an intense experience. It's an emotional experience. I think it is watered down, pardon the pun, I really did not intend to make that pun, by some cliches, but in general, I thought everything was great. The performances, the visuals, the intensity, and so, yeah, I really, really enjoyed The Impossible, but let me know in the comments what you thought of The Impossible. Let me know if you agree or disagree that someone might find it offensive. I don't know if offensive is the right word, but you know what I mean, I think, hopefully. Let me know if you know what I mean. I, once again, was not, but I'm surprised that other people haven't been, just because that's in people's nature to be offended by everything. Let me know what you thought of the performances. Let me know what you thought of, I guess, the intensity of the injuries and being underwater and all that stuff. Let me know anything that you want about The Impossible, and that's pretty much it.